This is a review of Nutritional Fortification and Physical Development by Varis Ahmad. First of all, why should you read this book? You should read this book because it is really good. It's one of the best nutrition books I've ever read. The thing is, I've had the exact same story as Varis. I was a vegan for 2 years. I got a bunch of problems. Then I moved on to eating animal foods, a lot of animal foods, and then I started eating raw animal foods, and I basically cured every single problem that I had. And I had anxiety, I had bloating, I had a really messed up digestive system. I used to shit 5 times a day. I had eczema, I had acne, you name it. I had everything associated with the horrible vegan diet. And I was able to cure all of it. To my knowledge, when it comes to Varis' story, he did the exact same thing. He was a vegan, he ran into problems, then he stumbled upon the works of Weston A. Price and Endogenous Wonder Planets, and he did what they said, and he cured himself of everything that the vegan diet did to him. That's precisely why I decided to read this book, because I knew that the information provided in Nutritional Fortification and Physical Development is legit. One question remains: if I had already researched the aforementioned health masters and I was already familiar with the contents of the book, why would I then decide to read it? Well, the answer is that I wanted Varis' perspective. This book isn't just Endogenous Wonder Planets, Pottinger, and Weston A. Price. This book is also Varis Ahmad, and I wanted Varis Ahmad's perspective, which I find highly valuable. Now here's the part that you've been waiting for. What will you actually find inside the book? What are the contents? I'll give you a quick summary. Chapter 1 deals with the idea of achieving your full genetic potential. You see, the thing is, if you grew up eating garbage for many years and then you got into health when you were maybe in your teenage years or a few years after you became an adult, well, then you haven't achieved your full genetic potential when it comes to development, and you can still develop even if you're 25. You'll find out why primitive people develop so easily while you don't, and how you can mimic what they do. The second chapter was really fun to read because Varis takes all of the nutrients, he tells you what they do, and he tells you where to find them. I should also add that for each nutrient he adds the symptoms that you would get if you're deficient. Chapter 3 was also really fun to read because it goes in depth when it comes to why modern food is devoid of any nutrients. You might think that you can answer the question, you might think that you can skip chapter 3, but trust me, after reading this chapter, you'll tell yourself that you didn't know anything about the subject. Chapter 4 was also really interesting because it's sort of an answer to the problem presented in chapter 3. It gives you the answer to how you can get the trace minerals that are lost due to modern agriculture. Chapter 5 is all about carbohydrates and why they're important for development. It tells you what types of carbohydrates that you should consume, it talks about how you should prepare those carbohydrates, and it lists several examples of indigenous people who ate a lot of carbs and were very strong. Chapters 6 and 7 are an explanation as to why vegans look and feel the way they do. Not really, because it's about how saturated fat and cholesterol are so incredibly important for natural human development and I'd say maintenance too. Chapter 7 is really funny because it makes you realize that humans really love fat, and that is saying something very important about our bodies. What was also very interesting is that Varis lists a bunch of cultures and what type of animal fat they cherished. Chapter 8 is about hormone optimization, what foods you should eat if you're a man and what foods you should eat if you're a woman to get hormones that aid in your development. Close to the end of the book you've got chapter 9, which is a chapter that gives you different diets that you can follow. Some of them are better for women and children, some are for everyone. Final verdict. This book is a golden ticket to nutrition heaven. There are so many distractions out there, there are so many diets, there's so much bullshit out there. If someone had given me this book when I was 15, 16, I would have avoided so much damage. While it is true that this book is aimed at people who want to physically develop, this is still a fantastic book to read if you want to know the truth about nutrition, especially if you start researching the people that Varis mentions in this book. With that said, I've recorded an interview with Varis that's 1.5 hours long, and it's literally the best video on YouTube. Like, I've never seen a video with so many answers to so many important questions for a human being in the 21st century as this video, as this interview. So go and watch it if you haven't. Go and achieve excellent health. I know you can do it.